Good morning, everyone, and welcome to IGTV. This is for our on-demand as well as live members. With us today, we have William H. Murray and Bill. You're going to be talking about one more lost laptop.
Right.
All right, go right ahead.
Good morning. Recently, an employee of British Petroleum reported one more lost laptop. It certainly will not be the last. In this case, the laptop contained records on 13,000 victims of BP's oil spill. One does not have to be an application genius to figure out how complete and sensitive those records are, or how much work they encapsulated. Let's consider the possibility that that copy of those records was the only copy. Without even considering any damage that might result from the disclosure, the loss of those records could be catastrophic to the subjects. A current search of the web shows that a typical business laptop comes with 250 gigabytes of secondary storage. Or, for a $150 premium, you can trade in that 250 gigabytes of rotating storage for 128 gigabytes of solid-state storage. Recently, one manufacturer of laptops sold off their rotating storage division in contemplation of going to solid state for laptops. We used to run whole enterprises on that much storage. Moreover, for $100, one can buy 4 times that much storage to carry in one shirt pocket. That's right, 1 terabyte, $100. The cost of storage is halving every 12 months. And Parkinson's law of storage says that data expands to fill the storage available to put it in. The processor power of these laptops is 1,000 times what it was a decade ago and increasing exponentially. While experts have been predicting the knee in Moore's law curve for a generation, we continue to push it out. I now have 3 old laptops stacked on top of one another that I use for application and storage servers. I have 3 terabytes of storage in my living room network. Daily, I operate this network from mobile devices, one called an iPhone, that I carry in my pocket. Even in the office, there's now a preference for laptops over desktops. Outside, there is movement to more and more mobile devices, laptops to notebooks, to netbooks, to tablets, to smartphones. Note that the only reason we continue to refer to these mobile computers as smartphones is because we buy them from the phone company. Making telephone calls is one of the least of the applications on these devices. This situation is only likely to get better or worse, depending on your point of view. The cost per CPU cycle and per bit of storage is likely to fall by a factor of 3 or 4 in 5 years. As the price falls, the number of devices sold increases, and the absolute number of applications grows, and the number of applications per device increases. Even the cost of software is falling as the number of copies that can be sold increases. 5 years ago, we could not have imagined the applications that we use today. No more so can we anticipate the applications of 5 years from now. But 5 years is just about our planning horizon. Come on, guys, this is not about laptops. It's about CD-ROMs. It's about thumb drives. It's about gigabytes and terabytes on one's fingernail. It's about users who have never used a computer they could not carry. It's about powerful computers in one's pocket. It's about what one can buy for $100. It's about new uses, and users on a barely imaginable scale. All of this involves, not to say invites, risk on a scarcely imaginable scale. Consider the bad things that can happen to mobile systems, applications, and data that is less likely to happen to stationary systems. First, while robust, these devices can be dropped, broken, or can simply suffer mechanical or electronic failure. They can be lost or left. They can be stolen, usually for the property value, but sometimes for the contents. Recently, we learned that ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is examining and impounding mobile devices at the borders. Ostensibly, this is to look for contraband data, specifically child pornography. The courts have consistently held that this kind of search is reasonable enforcement of the borders and does not violate the Fourth Amendment prohibition against unreasonable searches and seizures. In the 20 months of the program, ICE has examined more than 6,000 systems. For most of us, while it is a growing one for frequent business travelers, this risk is dwarfed by the other risks of mobile devices. Like those, it is one to which the same applications and data are not vulnerable when done on stationary systems. It is addressed by some, but not all, of the same security measures. For example, while loss and leakage are addressed by encryption, ICE will simply demand the key. Moreover, encryption offers no protection against the more likely threat of failure or breakage. On the other hand, not taking data or applications addresses all of the risks except property loss. I now carry a sterile MacBook when I travel. No enterprise, client, personally identifiable information, intellectual property, payment system, or other sensitive data on that device. The loss of the device is the loss of a piece of property readily replaced for $1,000. Consider the following policies and practices. Store sensitive data only on enterprise servers, never on portable devices. It just simply isn't a prudent thing to do. Prefer remote access to enterprise servers, to personal data, to excuse me, I want to share this with you.
Sorry.
Prefer remote access to enterprise servers, to personal, local, or portable copies. In other words, with today's ubiquitous bandwidth and high-speed connectivity, we really don't need those personal, local, or portable copies that we have been making gratuitously for years. Save new work on mobile devices to stationary servers. Do not rely on the fact that it will still be there when you get that laptop where you're taking it. Permit portable copies only with specific management approval. Any portable copies on devices should be on devices with full device encryption, so that should the device, so that when we get ready to dispose of the device, we can be sure that no data will leak as a result of the disposal. Any portable copies should be in encrypted file systems or databases. I don't want to rely upon that, but I understand that lots of people are going to do it in spite of what I say, and therefore we've got to have the capability. Prefer mobile devices, for example, Blackberries, iPads, and iPhones, with remote location and remote erasure capabilities. Oops, excuse me. Finally, prefer client-server, object-oriented databases, for example, Lotus Notes, with end-to-end encryption by default. Now, keep in mind that these are risk mitigation, not risk elimination policies. Leakage from mobile devices is simply a fact of life. We cannot solve the general problem, but we can address it for ourselves and our own enterprises. Note that these measures do not mitigate the risk of loss or breakage of property, but those are generally measured in the hundreds of dollars rather than in the tens of thousands or the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, even justifying, much less implementing these policies and practices will not be easy. That is why we are called professionals and are paid the big bucks. See you next week. Incidentally, I will post those policies and practices on the chat for you and also on my blog. Thanks. See you next week.